Let us draw this side view. Okay, I'm extending that center line, or maybe we'll use another. Let's keep that. Side view. Okay. 2-point rectangle. First point, second point. Okay. Move it. Becomes very messy. Okay. Because anyhow, this is the last one, right? So we will not change this, the width of that. Okay. And then another 2-point circle. Right. For that other line. Right. Now, you see, as I said earlier, for external threads, the cut is inside, right? That's how you identify if it's an external or internal thread. When it comes to drawings which are represented, right, conventionally. So I'll make that cut. Okay, I'll use L line. Okay, ortho off F8. I'll draw some random line like this. Enter again like this. Now I'll trim this one and that one. Okay, and then delete this like this, and also draw that center line. Okay, ortho on, make it center line, although it's not very much visible, but let's make it center line. Okay, clear, right? External screw threads detail. Let me close this like this, right? Clear, right? Now we'll take another table here, REC rectangle. Okay, I'll enter. Okay, I'll copy these. Control C, Control V, title, Control C, Control V, subject, Control C, Control V, and convention. Okay, What is it that we have next? Internal screw threads detail. Okay, so it also has threads, right? I will copy these threads. Okay, CO, copy, right? Enter, base point here, maybe ortho off, and just keep it here. Okay, now you see there, because after the thread there will be some portion, right, kept, which will not have the thread detail, so that indicates those, that part. But before drawing, I'll draw a rectangle so that we have, and also I believe half, yes, REC midline, maybe like this should be good, right? And then I'll take that line, okay, like that, ortho on, ortho off, and is there anything else? Yes, to impose that thread, I'm sorry, to impose that hatch, we need to have this spline, right? So that will be inside that. But I think, yes, we'll do it after we have mirrored it. Okay, once you have mirrored it, then we'll do that part. That should be better. So now, yes, mirror the other half, both the rectangle and that, both this rectangle. Okay, rectangle and this. Okay, enter, mirror line. Let's say this point to that point. Erase all subjects, no, and trim this off. Okay. Because it is not touching that line, is that why? We'll try that again. Trim. Yes. Now it is coming. Also this one, right? Don't want the middle, because we'll draw a center line altogether. So now let us draw that center line also. Ortho on, right click, quick properties, center line. Now about that hatch part, spline. Who is that? Okay, spline. Let's take spline with control points. Place one point here. F8, press ortho off. Okay, like this. Oh, I forgot. As I said, do not press escape after you have ended drawing the spline. Okay, press enter. Okay, and then we'll modify this, the shape of this as we want. Okay, like that. So now we'll impose the hatch. Hatch, enter. This dashed one, right? But not, let us change the scale to 3, no, 5. That is also somewhat 8. This should be good because in that diagram it is very coarse. So let us keep it coarse, maybe 15 or 20. Yes, let us keep it 20. Okay, also there, right? Other than that, naming, I'll take that, Control C, Control V. These are internal screw threads, right? Internal screw threads detail. Okay, double click, internal screw threads detail. And as for conventional, same thing, just like the previous, don't have the threads, but those two lines, major and minor limits, and then the side view. Okay, so I'll copy this and then we will where is that? Who is this Sahiti? Please rename yourself. Okay, it should be roll number followed by your name, right? All those not having that format, please change that. Roll number followed by your name. Okay, right? Now let us copy this. Okay, CO, copy, and select this. Once you have selected the objects, press enter. Base point. Let us take this point and let us place it here, right? Okay. Now we don't want the threads, right? We just want that line but not the threads. So let us draw a line and then we can delete, isn't it? Okay, so and also let us delete this hatch so that we can draw this again, right? Once we have created those lines, or yes, let's delete that and draw those major and minor limits. Ortho on. Okay, place it there. Also that, enter to retrieve the last command. First point, second point ends there. And then we will delete, right? You can use arrays or you can select entities and then press delete from the keyboard. Two options. Selecting objects like this, right? Also, we don't want these threads. So enter to retrieve the last command, selecting those, enter also these, right? Some more. All right. And then we have this portion. Let me extend that. Okay, I'll do one thing. You see another option. You can use this extend option. EXT you type, extrude, and then the next one is extend, right? So he'll ask you select objects, right? So I'm selecting these two. Okay, once I've selected, I'll press enter, and if I hover over this line, it is giving me, it is extending this line up until that line. Okay, boundary, taking that as the boundary and extending this line. Okay, and once that is done, you can trim that, right? Selecting this, and once you have done selecting that objects around the trim, press enter, and then you can select the objects to trim. Okay, so like that. And what else do we have there? Yes, major and minor lines. So let us take this as the minor line, right? That is the minor line. So I'll draw that, enter again. Another thing, yes, and then the hatch, isn't it? Hatch, enter, or access it from here, hatch. Okay, we can draw all at once, right? Or we could take a center line and then, but let us draw it like this. Once you have done, you can either close hatch creation or press escape. Okay, who is that? You see, and also center line, L, enter, L, enter, from here until, let's say there, right click, quick properties, center line. Okay, anything else? No. Someone is asking, once explain drawing threads. You see, all you have to do is, for example, I'll draw this rectangle. Okay, this represents the these two lines represents the major diameter. Okay, now I want the minor diameter also. Line, enter. So this depth will indicate your difference of major and minor diameter, isn't it? So I have drawn that, right? And then lines, L, enter, for that, for those threads, ortho off. Take that line, draw it inclined, take the angle as 45, for example. Okay, and then line again, starting from that intersection point, right? 45 again. Okay, and then trim off the remaining excess, right? And then copy what? Copy these, this point to that point. Again, you join it end to end, right? And once you have, yes, also because we want to have it at the bottom also. So to have a reference, we'll draw this line so that we have a point there. Okay, that point is what we'll use. Okay, now I'll try to do that. Copy what? Copy these, enter. This is my base point and I will place it exactly there. Okay, that is why I have drawn that line, to have that as a reference. Okay, so ortho on, right? And then I can delete that. Not just that, I can even delete these lines. But again, as I said, when you have drawn a rectangle, that will come as a single entity, so you have to explode. Once you have clicked on the rectangle and press enter, those will become individual lines like this. Okay, now I will delete that, and this also, and this also. Okay, now just to draw the threads, I'll enter. You take first point on that and the next point here. Okay, and repeat. Okay, first point there, next point, ortho is on, yes, right, and then copy the remaining. CO copy, not this one. Okay, CO copy 3, yes, first point. Okay, we could have taken another line. Okay, then we'll draw another line and then, okay, now copy these 4 lines, enter here to that point, and then continue wherever, until wherever you have the thread, you continue like that. Okay, let me end it here, for example. Okay, I can delete off the remaining, right? All those I can delete. You see that this is for a right hand thread. From top left to bottom right is what we are joining, right? For a left hand thread, you do the opposite, like that. Okay, so that's how you draw threads. Can we use trim for rectangle instead using explode? Uh, Regarding what had we used it for? No, but I think yes, it could be. I haven't checked trim for rectangle instead of explode. When we are selecting that rectangle, if we want to delete that, yes, yes, you can use that. But you see, yes, yes, the problem, I'll tell you what the problem would be. For example, I have this rectangle. Okay, like that. Okay, oh, okay. If you want to trim, you see these points are, the rectangle is connected to these points. So when you try to trim, they will come in between. It will be very problematic. Selected the objects to trim. Okay, because they are not connected. You see, this will happen. Because they are connected, you will have to trim all these in between. So hard work, right? So instead we can just explode and delete the lines altogether, because we don't need the line at all, right, from this point to that. Is that clear? Okay, so that was about that. Erase, E shortcut, yes. What do you want to erase? All of these. Press enter. Okay, and then the side view. Okay, should I draw the side view, or is that, because it is very similar to the previous one, isn't it? Yes. or should I repeat next one? Okay, because you see it is almost similar, just that you have the cut outside. So instead of uh, trimming it inside, you trim it outside. Okay, and drawing this is very simple, isn't it? And if at all it is required to represent it like this, interrupted one, you can use splines, right? Okay, let me copy and paste, but again I'll have to, so let us leave it like that. I'll enter. Okay, what is next? Screw that assembly. So all you have to do is, I have to take this point. I'm sorry, take all of that, isn't it? We'll take all of that. Mm, yes, and then we'll delete some part of it. Okay, CO, copy, base point. Okay, like that, right? And then what I will do is I will delete some part of it. Okay, and we'll draw that other thread. Okay, to represent the assembly. I'll enter from that point to this point, auto off. Okay, enter, retrieve the last command, that point, next, that point, next. Okay, enter. Now we'll have to represent the end of this, right? So let me delete this as well and draw that 3-point arc. Okay, 3-point arc. That should be my first point, should be my second point, and let's make that the third point. Okay, and then anything else? No, right? Yes, and in here, yes, we can use that one also, just like we had used that for representing the subject. We can use this, and because you don't have a side view, I think, yes. So let me place it in the middle. Okay, and then I will draw that stud. I'll enter maybe here. Yes, yes. 3-point arc, first point, second point, third point. Okay, and that will continue. Okay, internal screw threads, but okay, screw threads assembly. Okay, Control C, Control V. assembly. Okay, line. Okay, and spline shafts. Okay, I think this will be sufficient. We'll see. As for spline shaft, let us move them, right? Move objects to move. Enter this point. Okay, F8. Okay, spline shafts. Okay, spline shaft. We'll take a circle. Yes, we'll draw a circle, and and then we'll draw that rectangle and trim it. Okay, center point, center and radius, maybe here, right? And draw that center line. Enter, retrieve the last command. Okay, let's make it center line. Anyhow, we'll need it. Yes, make this as a center line. Okay, also this one. Okay, and then that rectangle at the top. Hmm, like this, right? And trim off the excess. Okay, we can delete it individually. Now, okay, because this is one entity. Yes, so we can now we'll use polar array. We had used earlier, right? For holes and circular pitch, polar array. What are the objects? These are the objects. Center point. I want to use the center point of that circle. Intersection. Okay. Yes. Items. Maybe 12. Let's keep 12. Okay. Yes. Once you're done, close array. And also we want to trim the middle one, the that inside. Select objects, all these, and trim off Okay. Anything else? That's all right. Regarding the subject. Okay. And clear, right? Screen is blur. Explain once again this one. You see, what we have done is we have drawn a circle. I'll draw it here, okay? I'll explain that here because yes, you also have two parts to be represented. So instead of taking the whole array, I will only take this part. Okay, I'll show you. Okay, how will we take that? Okay, 2 point circle. Okay, first point, second point. Okay, I've taken that as a reference to draw that. And then yes, now we'll draw that. Okay, rectangle as I had explained, but let me draw center lines also. Properties, center line, properties, center line. You see, I have drawn that rectangle at the top,